what's up, yo? I'm up here in Valencia, I believe it is, at Marston. I'm about to meet up with the fellas, have some breakfast, get the weekend started. It's been a long week. I've had some triumphs and some tragedies, so to speak. Traded away my FXR for a big bore kit for my girl here, Ruth. I'm looking forward to getting that in and letting you guys know how that goes, seeing what that's like. You know, I've been riding on a stage 2 for a minute now, and came up on a new job, got a new gig. My last school closed down, and that's a whole other story. I feel like I could do a whole video on the death of a school and what it takes to kill a school nowadays, because man, it was foreshadowed some time ago that this place was on the way out. There was so much going on. There's got to be accountability, not just on the adults, but on the students as well. And when you void out accountability, that's the end right there. That's it. So that's where we're at with that. But you know, meeting with some brothers here for breakfast. This is how we unwind, kick back, enjoy each other's company, fellowship, get the weekend started right. And then later I'm gonna hook up with a couple other brothers, and we gotta go over some club business. And then tonight I'm meeting up with my pastor. We're gonna have dinner at what I consider to be the best fried chicken restaurant in Southern California, and that is Gus's World Famous. It's not a Southern California thing. It's you know, they're everywhere, but in Southern California they have the best fried chicken that I've eaten. There's some good fried chicken out there, you know, if you like Jollibee Filipino fried chicken, depending on which one you go to, because the one nearest my house has turned into a trash heap, but a lot of other ones are pretty good. When I was in the Philippines a few months ago, I went there. Man, that fried chicken was awesome. And it's crazy. Black man travels halfway around the world to eat fried chicken. All right, but you know, that was that. So let me get on in here, get started. I don't even know if anybody's here. I don't see any cars. So let me get in here, see if I can claim a table for us and get us going. All right. Looks like the first of my compadres is here. Let's see how long it takes the rest to show up. Let's look at this menu. I've never been to this place. Never even heard of it before today. I had to get up, loosen up the vest here. Oh, you shaved? You shaved, man. You look like a baby face now.
Decided to go with the fresh look. We're a little upscale today.
It looks like it, right?
Okay.
I guess these are their specials.
What's it done? The food's good.
You've eaten here before?
Yeah.
You were the one that suggested it?
Joe says he's here.
Where? Let's look at the menu here.
On the patio. Oh, yeah, it's nice out here.
Oh, he's inside?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's coming out.
It's lunch menu. I don't want that. All right, good. Yourself? Yeah, I ordered a Diet Coke already. Thank you.
They do the good pancakes and stuff.
Macadamia nut pancakes. Pulled pork Benedict. Huevos rancheros. The Jimmy breakfast burrito. Chicken chilaquiles. Oh. Just got back in from breakfast. As you saw, I up at Marston's up in Valencia. Actually turned out to be a pretty nice place. I didn't film, outside of filming the menu, I didn't film, what the guys talked about, So I was like a little, just fellowshipping. So I didn't explore that with the camera. But I'm back home now. About to fire up a cigar. I got a American Viking, the Filthy Viking. These are put out by Cigars Daily over in Phoenix. They make a good stick. Back when I got these, I think I picked these up 2 years ago. And this was like one of the last boxes they had. Myself and one of the guys went over. We did a run just to go visit the shop and to pick up these cigars. So, that was a fun weekend. It was like a 5 hours. I want to say 5 hours to Phoenix from here. 6 hours maybe. And then, we hung out. Saturday, we spent our time at the lounge. And then Sunday, we rolled back. Tim and the guys over there, they were great hosts. Gave us a tour of the shop. Let me film in the shop as he does YouTube. So as we were filming the shop, he let us see some of the things they had going on there. This is back when he was barrel aging tobacco and all of this. So it was a pretty nice little tour. And then we got to sit out and smoke in the lounge. The downside was GoPro had put out a firmware update, but I didn't know. They didn't announce it. And my computer, my camera, lost all my footage. All the footage of the tour. And I felt so bad, I didn't want to ask Tim to do it again. So that I just have it in the memory, I don't have it on recorded on film, or in this case digitally. But yeah, thanks GoPro. And so I called as soon as I found out that this footage was lost. I called GoPro, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we just got an update to the firmware." I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. And he sent it right to me. Like, right as I'm on the phone with him, bing, I get a message. Hey, there's new firmware for your GoPro. I'm like, why couldn't this have happened like an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, so I could have the footage? But, it is what it is. I learned a valuable lesson. That is, if you're going to use these devices, make sure you constantly monitoring for updates, because if they're updating them and you're not paying attention, sometimes you're going to be doing things and you're going to have some problems. You're going to lose footage, or your audio is going to be terrible or something. You just have to stay up with the firmware, because stuff happens. So always update. I have mine attached to my phone set for automatic updates, but they don't automatically update every time, so you got to still go in and check. Life has been a struggle. The past 4 or 5 months has been pretty rough, because I was working, as I mentioned earlier, I was working at a school, and at the school I was at, basically the budget got blown out the water. I mean, it was crazy. And so that led to, people losing their jobs early, like mid-year. By the time we hit mid-year, people were already losing their jobs. And we made it towards the end of the year, and things just became more and more stressful. It became obvious that the school was very iffy about whether or not it would survive. And then it came down that they were going to shut down part of the school, which the school went from 6th to 12th grades. And so they were going to close out the middle school portion, which is grades 6, 7, and 8. And they were going to trim down the high school, which was grades 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then they were going to try to move the whole school over to LA Mission College campus. Well, some hiccups happened there, so that doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So now the school is pretty much gone. It's going to be dead soon. It's just a maybe matter of days, hours, who knows. But all the staff, well, not just, I can't say all the staff, because they did retain some people to work there. If the school was going to continue at all, they were going to have some people ready to staff it. But I don't know a number, but I would say probably 85-90% of the staff was let go from all levels: administrative, classified, certificated. All of us were let go. So they basically retained, I think, 4 or 5 teachers and a couple admin, some secretarial staff who had been there a while. But everyone else pretty much was let go. And so it's been a rough time for a lot of people. A lot of people have been, struggling because you buy into the school, the program, the mission, and then to have it ruined like it was, and have yourself having to go and find another place to kind of start all over again, building relationships with teachers and staff and getting to know a whole new crop of students, because some teachers have been there a while and had relationships with kids from middle school through high school, and they maintain these relationships. And now that's all gone and you got to start all over again. It's bad for the kids because many of the kids who, had a place they knew they were going to be at next year no longer have that school, no longer have that place. So they're out finding places to go to school. And this kind of school it was, we dealt with a lot of kids who had issues, right? So with that, it's not so easy to find a place where those kids fit in. But, I think I'm going to do a video on that whole thing later on because there's a whole lot to it. And I like to break it down bit by bit. Why did that school fail? And this school obviously failed, but it's not alone. I think the educational system that we have in this country is suffering right now. It's struggling because of the political agenda that we see taking place. There's what I would call liberal racism, where it's not to say, oh, this kid can't do it because they're black or they're Hispanic, but it says they can't do it because they're black or Hispanic. It's crazy, right? So they want to look at the Klan as racist because they believe there's a biological reason why you can't do it. They say, oh, they're inferior biologically. But liberal racism says that's not true, yet the policies of liberal racism suggest that blacks and Hispanics can't do it. They can't achieve on the same level. So we have to take away meritocracy. We have to build up entitlements and allow people to make it without having to put forth any sweat from their brow, And we just had a ruling come down this past week from the Supreme Court it was last week, on affirmative action. I was in the dentist's office at the time, and there was an Asian woman in there. We were watching the news together while we waited for our appointments. And when she heard the news, she was like upset, and she was like apologizing for being upset. And she said, "This is crazy. The Supreme Court, they're idiots, It's not fair what they're doing." And I stopped and I said, "Well, this actually benefits you, or it benefits Asians, right? Because the affirmative action, the way it was being implemented, especially here in California, was squeezing out Asians. Asians were being excluded because prior to race-based admissions, Asians were killing it. They were getting into all the schools because they had the scores, they had everything in line, and the blacks and Hispanics were falling short. But with race-based admissions, you were giving spots to blacks and Hispanics that hadn't been earned academically, and the Asians who had, in fact, the credentials to justify admissions were being pushed aside for the blacks and Hispanics who were less qualified. So, undoing race-based admissions favors situations like that, where you're excluded despite your actual qualifications. So she stopped and she thought about it. She's like, "Oh, well, they're still idiots. I don't like how they decided on abortion. I don't like how they did this and did that." So sometimes, I'm not going to get into a whole discussion on abortion or whatnot right now, but I think a lot of times we react to things, but we don't think about them. We just react, and you can make yourself look stupid if you don't think first before you react or you start talking, because you're responding simply because they're not favoring your general political bent. But is it really right? Is it wrong? You're not giving any thought to that. How does it play out? Who does it help? Who does it hurt? You're not giving any thought to that. You're not thinking about the true manifestation. And how many people who believe in affirmative action would want an unqualified person to be their attorney, or to be their doctor, or to design some kind of engineering, right? You want the best, the brightest to do those sorts of things. Why? Because if there's a mistake made, it could be catastrophic. But we don't want to acknowledge that. And no, there is a difference. There's a difference. Yes, some people may not achieve. I find myself in that category. I think I was a bit bright, but I did not achieve to the level I could have, right? I kind of floated. I never had anyone pushing me. And I think that's a cultural issue, and that's why a lot of Hispanics and blacks aren't meeting the qualifications, because they haven't been pushed. They haven't been forced to achieve. We've just been given, this false sense of entitlement. We've been graduated from grade to grade, or I should say, I guess, culminating, from grade to grade, without truly showing mastery of our skills. Is that to say that we can't do it? No, that's absolutely false. But the fact that you don't force blacks and Hispanics to do it says that you don't believe they can. Right? The fact that you would pass them along without forcing them to demonstrate mastery says you don't believe they can show mastery. That's where the racism is. And when I talk to my students, I'll tell them that. Don't accept that nonsense, right? If someone is going to pass you and you know you didn't do your best, don't accept that. If you get an A on an assignment and you know when you look at that was not even close to your best work, that A is suspect. You know it. No matter what anyone else says, you know it. Your A should be your best work, not what someone says is your best work. because sometimes they grade with a soft heart, right? Because they don't think you can achieve it and they don't want to hurt your feelings. We got into this whole feelings thing a while ago. That's why we give out participation trophies. And a lot of times grades now are just a matter of participation. We had a teacher at the school I was working at. I took over a class halfway through the year. They let a bunch of teachers go. So they reassigned some of us and I ended up taking over a class. And the kids were getting angry with me because I wasn't just giving them grades. And they were like, well, Miss So-and-so, she said that we get an A if we turn the assignment in. I'm like, you turn it in and you automatically get an A? What is that? How about how well you did it? So you just put your name on a paper, scribble something on it, boom, that's an A? Is that acceptable to you? You know, is that acceptable to parents? And a lot of the parents at the schools that I've worked at, where it's lower income, primarily Black and Hispanic, the parents, most of the parents aren't really pressing on skill development. They get upset if their kid gets a bad grade, but not because the kid doesn't know the skills. It's because the teacher gave them a bad grade, right? They get upset because they think their kid went to school every day, their kid turned in X number of assignments, that's automatically a passing grade. And if you don't agree with that, you're wrong. So that's the way it's going. That's the sad truth of our educational system. But I think I might do a longer video that deals with all that later. Right now, I want to enjoy my Saturday. Smoke me some cigars. I like to know, what kinds of things would you like me to talk about? I got a lot of things to say about Christian organizations, the motorcycle club world, all those sorts of things. If there's anything you've seen in any of my videos that you think you want me to expound upon, explore a little further, let me know down in the comments. And I'd like to ask you to please like my videos, share them, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to build this thing up. I don't usually ask people to do it. I got the little, cards at the end, but I don't directly say, hey, please like, share, subscribe. But it helps, right? It helps, as you hear in other videos, talk about the algorithm. It puts your video up there so people see it. More people see it, more people get interested in your content. And that's what I'm trying to do. So it would help me out a lot for the people that, do like what I'm doing, who do watch my videos, to like them, to share them, to subscribe. I appreciate all you do, and I hope you like this one. All right. Have a good weekend. If you're smoking, have a good cigar. I'll talk to you later.